Welcome, I'm Deb Shepard. I'm your host of Spirited Straight Talk. Thank you for joining me on this amazing spiritual journey that we call life. You're in the right place and you didn't land here by accident. My intention is to help you learn to free yourself of things that are holding you back and create a life that truly makes your soul happy. I'll be talking about key insights and interesting topics to help you learn how to powerfully co-create with the universe. I will cover everything from turning your setbacks into triumphs, and my favorite, living your soul's purpose. Of course, I'll be connecting you with spirit, your guides, and the favorite one, of course, is your loved ones on the other side. If you're ready to truly stop spinning circles, and you're ready to harness the power to co-create an authentic life with spirit, then I hope you join me every week for Spirited Straight Talk. Today our topic is something that I discuss a lot, and we've talked about it. It's about meditations. And it seems like people get this idea that we're supposed to be sitting in this quiet room with our legs crossed and our hands on our lap.
Lotus position.
Yeah, with our middle finger and thumb touching each other, saying, you know. And that is a great form of meditation. And I feel that the people that are able to, number one, sit in that position for a long period of time, which I can't. It's really hard.
More power to them.
Yeah, more power to them. Are people that have practiced it their entire lives. And we do have some friends that practice meditation that way.
Right.
And I always say if someone can do that and not have any chatter, because that's the biggest thing is people go, well, I try to be quiet and my mind's still chattering. So we're going to put more understanding around that that's a myth, that to hear nothing can be almost impossible unless you've done this practice from early on and you're not being distracted and you don't have any technology and things like that around you, or a problem in your back or your sciatica while you're sitting there. Everything is workable. So for us that are having the normal hectic everyday lives, it might look a little differently. But
and the kids and the dogs barking and the yes,
the phone ringing and those all the other commitments we have. But what we want to understand is the purpose also of meditation is to really be present. I think what a lot of people envision is that they're always going to get all this wisdom from the universe. Like, where does this come from? What does this look like? And what I think is that we get into a lot of fear, and meditation helps us handle an issue or a situation. And the more we do it, we can calm ourselves so that we can manage something and know how to respond. And I also feel like we get really caught up in our mind. When there's a problem or something that we want to change, we continue to regurgitate that information, which doesn't really help us. Or we ask other friends what they think, and then we add to that. So meditation is really a form of listening and not looking at your past and not having fear of the future.
More looking inside yourself.
Correct. How do you feel? How does it resonate?
Or sitting with it yourself,
yes.
Basically.
And no matter what you believe in, so the purpose of meditation, prayer, your intention of holding that idea is just about being present. And so people that pray is a very similar thing about meditation. They're just a different form. Prayer is asking that way, and then meditation is about receiving. So they're very similar. They're just different words.
Well, we talk about the rosary versus the mala beads.
Correct.
Both prayer beads, both intended for focusing, meditation, intention. There may be a different word for it depending on your religion or belief system, but it is the same thing essentially, right?
Correct.
So, mantra.
The prayer beads that are used are half of what the mala beads are. And they both have stones. They both are in a circle. And both of them have little things at the end of them. And the malas that we use have certain stones too, and they are 102 beads. 108. Thank you. That's why she's here too. And you will say certain mantras in order to create a vibration or an energy.
And 108 holds a humongous symbolism. There's probably 50 different reasons there's 108 beads, but they're all from a spiritual aspect.
Correct. And what we love about them too is it creates a focus, because when you can focus on something, it allows you to be in that present moment. And by saying in those types of meditations, you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. And that allows your energy to calm down or recognize what you're looking for. And for both purposes, you're looking for answers from your higher consciousness or the whatever you believe in, whatever the
God,
the universe, God,
the universe,
yeah,
right,
Buddha, whatever that is that you believe, because our needs for everybody are the same. No matter where you believe or where you live or what you believe, we all have the same needs. And so these are again forms to get out of the hurricane, basically, because we get into that whole cycle of confusion and trying to solve problems, and we just want the right answer. And the answers may be different for each person, and that's why being quiet and paying attention can be so helpful and taking the fear out of it.
Yeah.
So one of the things it's helpful for is, let's say you're at work and there's been a difficult situation, or you're having a relationship challenge and you're trying to figure out what to say. And I don't know about you, but me, I can put my foot in my mouth so many times, and and it's a good time to sit back and go, wait a minute, I need to think about this. And I call it marinating. I've shared this.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to sit back before I respond, and that has to do with age, I think, too, is not always having that knee-jerk reaction.
I would venture to guess that it is a learned thing, but I think also for you, I know you really need to figure out how you want to respond. And you always come to the right answer, and something I need to learn is to learn to wait a little bit before I respond, where I'm a problem solver. She's just saying that
I'm older than her. That's what she's trying to say.
And I hope to gain that as I grow.
But we're in a society that is very quick to respond. We want everything, the answers right away. We're not willing to wait for it. And that's what's happened to us as a society. Just give me the answer. I want to know.
I think some people are wired differently too. Like, I'd rather not worry about it for a long time. I'd rather figure out the answer and not have it weigh on me. Where I know you like to marinate on it and allow yourself the time to respond. So well,
I let you do all the worry stuff. You're the one who gets that stuff done, so I don't have to worry about those things.
Well, aren't you a lucky one?
Basically, it's how you're wired.
Yeah.
And so if you're a person that always responds quickly and it's not working for you, then it would be a great suggestion to figure out how to meditate for yourself.
Yeah.
And that you can get more clarity and perhaps see more sides of the equation, because a lot of times we see our own personal side and we don't see the bigger picture. And if you're a problem solver, there are many times that you want to solve someone else's issues or problems, and it's much easier to solve theirs than ours, right? And that sometimes means maybe we need to get out of the way.
Yeah.
If they haven't asked us, and I talk about this all the time, is there's boundaries. Sometimes it's not your job to fix the problem.
Right.
And that could be the answer that is important to hear. I think a lot of times we get into the fear, well, this happened in the past, so I don't want this to happen again. And that's where we start doing something maybe different than we did before, but we still don't have all the clarity in order to approach the situation still in a good way.
So ultimately what you're saying is meditation, you can use it to marinate, but you can also use it to calm yourself and just open yourself up to whatever you're supposed to receive.
Yeah, and for me, I am very sensitive, so if I get a lot of people's energy that's negative, I need to walk away and figure things out, because otherwise I'm going to, again, react a certain way. So it is a great way to take some deep breaths, go into the restroom if you can, wash your hands, which everyone's been doing a lot of these days, washing their hands.
Well, because water actually helps clear away emotion.
Correct.
So when you say wash your hands or take a shower or take a bath, it's because water actually helps wash some of that energy away.
If you think about it, we were born in water.
Yeah.
So that's a very comforting, safe place to feel. And it's by using the intention of I'm, releasing all these emotions and feelings so that you can get clarity. And meditation is just about getting clarity. It's taking yourself out of a situation and getting a different response than what you would normally do. And I think what people think is they have to do these really long meditations, like I got to spend 40 minutes to an hour meditating. And most people don't have that kind of time. And so one of the things I teach is doing those quick meditations. So you can do them more daily, as well as if there's a situation and you need to walk away and think about it, you've got some quick tools which we're going to give you. Suggestions are, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is people think that their chatter in their mind, I know we talked about this earlier, but the chatter in their mind doesn't go away. It's not going to go away. Our brains are wired to continue getting information. Mm-hmm. And so what you want to be able to do is have the chatter not arguing with you anymore or defending yourself or replaying the story versus calming it down so that you can get rational. And some of the ways I share this, how to do this, is when we, you know me, I'm always forgetting someone's name. You know, who was that actor in that movie that I can't remember? And then Dana will remember or will Google, but a lot of times you'll walk away and you remember that person's name. I know when I've met somebody, like you see them out shopping and you know them, but it's not in the content of being at the grocery store.
Right.
And like, who is that? And then 20 minutes later, you remember and connect it. And that's what meditation does. It helps you refocus and get some answers because you're not in that hectic space. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I remember learning this a long time ago, probably in some biology class, but that your brain holds all this information too, and allowing yourself to relax allows the information to flow. So I'm assuming from your perspective, from a spiritual aspect, it's the same thing.
Correct.
Allowing your mind to relax allows that connection to flow as well from a spiritual aspect. Yeah.
And just so you know, when you get the answers you need, it won't be in someone else's voice. People go like, I'm not hearing them. I'm like, well, if you heard someone else's voice, it'd probably freak you out. So it will sound like your voice or those.
It's like your thoughts.
Your thoughts. And that's why I think people get confused, but you're getting different solutions to it and you're getting more wisdom. And it might be something simple as you hear a song or you remember a story or you remember someone else going through the same scenario, and that will pop in to go, oh yeah, that's right. That's how I need to remember. And I think when our bodies are stiff, you know, when you meet somebody and they're not breathing very much and their breathings are short and their body's tense, it's very hard to hear what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And so that's the energy too. You want to make sure that your body is relaxing so you can hear the information in yourself. I think too, what we have to learn in meditation or doing these things is trying to have the feeling that you're in a good place. Because usually when if you practice, this is, maybe go back this way. When you go in and you do this more daily, which will give you some examples, it will be a more natural process versus trying to figure it out when you're hitting the panic button of, oh, I need to have answers. So there may be days that you are meditating and you do these quick things where you just tune in to know. It's like finding a memory, like how we've gone to the ocean. You can go back there and go, you remember that story? And it makes you feel relaxed. Or do you remember this? So having the form of meditation on a regular basis allows you to go to that feeling to relax so you can deal and manage with life.
So I think a lot of people are meditating and they don't even realize it.
Yes.
So they, you know, when we were talking about this podcast, some of the things you shared is it's almost like, oh, okay, so that was me meditating.
Yes.
Basically, because I was present.
Yes.
In that moment, and I wasn't, you know, I just kind of let my mind wander, maybe.
Right.
Like for me, it's letting my mind wander versus trying to figure out what's next on my to-do list.
Correct.
So that's my differentiation between the two things, I think.
Well, you know, I play solitaire on my phone sometimes, and that's for me to distract myself from the present.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is people think that when they meditate, they should get the answers right then. Mm-hmm. And that would be, it can work that way with practice. You can start getting information. But what I find for most people, including myself, is I may get some information or feel it, I'm not quite sure, but as the day goes on or the week goes on, I start getting validation about the answer that I was feeling or the answers that I need or the direction. And that's really the beauty of it, is when you do that type of form of meditation and you don't get the answers, but you know, it's like you open up this little door and the universe goes, how about this and how about that? And you go, I was just thinking about that the other day. Or you hear a commercial, or you watch a movie. And we've done that so many times. Like right now we're reading that book, and it's just these ahas of information. And it's because it comes in different forms. And that's what we want to be open to, is that they're going to give you the answer. It just may not be in the form of when you're meditating. And, it's...
daydreaming.
Yeah. So how many of kids, or how many times you're in a corporate meeting and you're like, don't want to be there, but you're thinking about something else.
Oh, yeah.
And you're looking out the
Every
window.
time.
Yeah, every time.
Every time I was ever in a corporate meeting.
Or kids are like, they're looking out the window going, oh, yeah. And the teacher or the boss or whoever says, is everyone getting that? Or do you understand? And you're like, oh, where was I? That's actually a form of meditation, because even though you're present, you're out there somewhere else. Your body feels relaxed. Your mind is relaxed. You're just in a whole better place, because right where you are is not where you want to be.
Right.
So yes, all those daydreams that you do is a connection with...
You were actually meditating.
So you know what people can do? Is just go to corporate meetings.
And corporate meetings
and daydream.
I don't wish that upon anyone.
That could be the whole form of meditation. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you remember Ferris Bueller's Day Off? That was when all the kids were like sleeping and not there in class. Yeah, that's probably the form of meditation.
That's funny.
The other thing too is we have to realize that when you're meditating, praying, whatever that looks like, it is not always the logical thing. It will use your imagination. So if you're a person that is very black and white, very analytical, purposeful, to-do list, type A personality, you're going to have to kind of wiggle around a little bit and allow yourself to use your imagination and maybe not get the direction that you were thinking. And I always say to people, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same results. So it's trying something new. And I would rather teach people how to get their own answers and listen versus always having to seek out someone for answers. And we were born with intuition. We were born being able to do this. We just got through life where we were told by a community, this is how you have to live, and this is how you have to think, and this is how you have to work, and this is how you have to be in a relationship. So we shut that off. And what you're doing
We're pretty much told how to behave our entire lives. So that makes sense.
What you're doing is you're reactivating that intuition again. So it's always been there. You just turned off the light switch. You know how kids and animals, they know when there's fear. They know when something isn't right, things like that. So it's always been there. So now you're reactivating again. So it's not scary. People go, well, what if I hear something I don't want to hear? I
don't know if that's possible. I mean...
Well, I think people think that they're going to hear bad news, even coming to someone like myself. And it's like, no. We were told by...
If it's a good... somebody like you.
Yeah, but even if you go to the doctor and they're saying, hey, you need to exercise more, I mean, it's not like that scary. It's just that that's part of your health and to keeping that balance. But your guides are really there to give you, the positive things and how to deal with it.
The opportunities.
Yeah, the opportunities. So even though we have a meditation room, we don't go sit on the floor in there and meditate like that.
I want to. I want to do that more.
Well, we can't. Part of it is creating how you make that space and time.
Yeah.
But again, you can find other ways to do it. We have one student that recently, she just said, I just realized I always meditate in the shower because I get all my information. Remember, there's no technology, no one bothering you. You've got that quiet space. So definitely make those intentions.
You're surrounded by water.
Surrounded by water again. Just imagine all your body and your energy being cleansed and just listen and breathe and feel that. Of course, coloring mandalas or adult coloring books that are not X-rated.
Well, some of them probably are,
and people laugh because you know this. When I blow dry my hair, I get a lot of information, or when we walk, and because I'm just sitting there and I'm focused and I'm looking at what I need to do, and I'll start writing down things. And not too long ago, we were doing this class, and I gave you the idea, and you're like, I'm not really sure. And I was like, fine. And I went and blew dry my hair, and my guides came through with what to do with the assignment, and it ended up being great. So it is allowing yourself to see things more possible. And it actually is easier because they help you with the answers.
Well, I like that. Not having to think as much. Just give me the answers.
Just give me the answers. Of course, being outdoors, playing music. I even wrote down if you have animals, like brush your dog, play with your cat. Those things are just being present. And animals have such unconditional love. There's just that good feeling. And I think that can help people be present.
Yeah, you can change your energy just by petting an animal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, again, water, hot Epsom salt baths. Painting, swimming, any of those things. But
exercise for me is...
That's for you.
Yeah, for me, like going for a run or swimming, or probably not biking as much because I do guided biking on Peloton, but there are certain forms of exercise that...
Yeah, not me.
Yeah, yes, you are.
When I'm walking, I can get a lot of information, but Dana's dragging me behind her, like, come on, you can do this.
But you do it.
I do it.
And you still get info when you exercise. So.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm just telling her no. So...
She's lying to
if
you.
you really want to have meditation look differently, like in certain times to find a deeper form of it, of course, there's always the guided meditations, which I've done for years.
You do a lot of those, in your classes, and to help your students through their meditation, or to basically to take them where you want them to go.
Correct.
In their thought process. So you do guided meditations for them.
And they'll go, well, I didn't go there. I went somewhere else. I went, sweet, that's really great. You want to go wherever you need to go. It's just bringing that energy in so that people can allow themselves to go along the journey. Yoga. The other thing is candle gazing, and that is basically lighting a candle and having the room not too dark, but dark enough where you can just look at that flame and relax and breathe into it, and that doesn't have to take very long. I used to do it when I was in the bath, taking Epsom salt baths and putting my candles there. The gong bath, which I have done several times for people, that big gong, and those are fun. It's a whole different type of vibration and energy.
Yeah, it's a sound meditation, which is incredible, but it's sound in a vibrating form.
Yes.
So you actually feel the waves from the gong.
And then the other one is we have singing bowls. So if people haven't purchased one of those, get one of those and play a singing bowl. But you can do automatic writing, which is just putting the pen into paper and writing what comes through, listening to music. I always say having fun and joy is a great form of meditation. So anyway, these are just some great ideas. Just start even going with the intention.
I venture to guess most people have done many of these and had thoughts going through their mind, and that they were actually meditating and didn't even realize it.
Right. And that was my point to say, is that when you are going to, let's say, take a shower or this hot bath, go in like, this is my meditation, I'm going to be present. And that can be in your everyday life. And if you crochet or do those kind of hobbies too, they can actually be part of that too, because you're just being present and you're focused in that time frame. And have fun with it. And don't try to make it more difficult, because it's a very natural process. It's just practicing and acknowledging it, and then taking any notes that you get throughout that day or week that goes, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
I think that's the important piece, is if you're asking a question or you're needing guidance, have a pen and paper ready, because it will come.
Yes.
It's going to come through to you.
And what I love about doing this kind of work is we have a goal in mind, like, we're going to teach this, we're going to do this, and then I start meditating on how it can look. And my guides come through with some great information. And I love it, because when I'm teaching the class, the people will say, we were all thinking about that. This is where I was. So that helps you align yourself with the people you're working with, your family, and what you need to. So it's a great practice. And it's been around for thousands of years. So thanks again for joining us on Spirited Straight Talk.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. Each Monday is a new episode of Spirited Straight Talk. Make sure you hit follow so you don't miss any of the guidance or bonus episodes. Your experience at the show means a lot to us, and we would love for you to leave a review or let us know about more topics you would like Deb to explore. You can also follow Deb on social media and connect with her website at debshepherd.com. That's DEBSHEPPARD.com. If you want to join Deb on one of the shows or have a reading from her on the show, you can submit a request on the podcast page of her website. Thank you again, and see you next week.